All right, so Sonic fans have been waiting for a long time for the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 trailer, and we finally received it this morning, and it is absolutely incredible. I kind of want to dive into a little bit, just sharing my thoughts and some of the hype surrounding this movie and what I think is maybe some of the interesting things that could happen. So let's dive into my thoughts on the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie trailer. So first off, I want to get this out of the way. I am a massive Shadow the Hedgehog fan. First Sonic game I ever played was Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on the GameCube, and so this character has meant a lot to me when I was a kid growing up. I loved Sonic, but Shadow was actually the character that I loved the most. And over the last couple of years, it's been really sad to see what Sega's done with the character, essentially turning him into over dramatic edgelord, which he's not. He is essentially an anti-hero person who just has a more serious personality than Sonic does. That he's not this like crazy edgelord, that he's someone who just takes himself a little bit more seriously than he does. And he's also a very broken person. And so in this trailer, I was incredibly excited to see that this film franchise is continually remaining faithful to the character of these characters, that they did Knuckles insanely well, that in Sonic media up until recent, he was turned into essentially this brute who had no brains, and they made him actually a smart character who was strong and tough and loyal and at times could be tricked but wasn't an idiot. And so it was incredible to see that portrayal. Sonic, they've done really well. Tails, they've done really well. And then to see Shadow, and Keanu Reeves is crushing it in this role, that he is the perfect Shadow. He's everything that we hoped that he would be when we heard that announcement, and he just kills it. From the dramatic moments, you can just feel the intensity, that this character is not something that Sonic is used to facing, that he is powerful and that he means business and that he's not goofing around and that he's serious. And on top of that, one thing I really loved was that they showed the flip of the coin of Sonic and Shadow, which I always think that villain characters, the best ones, are always the ones who are kind of the flip of the coin, where the hero easily could have been the villain, where Batman could have been the Joker if he had experienced what the Joker experienced. That's one of Batman's most famous stories, is that that's the case, that Spider-Man could easily have become the Green Goblin if he didn't take his great power with great responsibility. That these kind of villains, where they're the flip of the coin, Killmonger and Black Panther, all these different things are really interesting. Same thing with Thanos and Iron Man, that in that movie they portrayed them as people who actually had similar goals, but one was going in a different direction and experienced something else compared to what Iron Man did. And so for here, to see them take that on, actually even name it and say, hey, this guy has lived a tragic life. I love that they dove into the Maria stuff and showed a little bit of that, and being like, he's like you, Sonic, but he has experienced insane pain and loss. That while you came to this earth, you experienced friendship and beauty. All he has experienced is pain and loss. And to see what that does to a person will be really interesting. Another thing that I loved about this trailer that's different than Sonic Adventure 2 Battle is that Eggman is not the villain. Now, there may be a plot twist eventually. They may turn that around, but they actually are teaming up with Eggman because they can't stop Shadow. And I think that's a really interesting departure from the Sonic Adventure 2 game. I do think this makes sense, especially for film, that for 3 movies in a row, it's like, oh, you're going to have Eggman be the villain again. That can get kind of old and stale, but for them to have to team up with him is really interesting. It also makes Shadow's mission to destroy Earth that much more intense. Where, of course, if Eggman wants to rule Earth, why would he destroy it? And eventually, in Sonic Adventure 2, Eggman does team up with Shadow, but at first he's the one who's trying to partner with Shadow. And so it'll be really interesting to see how they play that out, but I found that to be intriguing and could be really cool. And I think it sets up Shadow to be this even larger character than maybe he potentially would have been if he was just kind of Eggman's sidekick, that he's not that. And it would have felt more like what happened in the second movie with Knuckles. And so that's a really interesting departure. And I also love that we finally get the classic Eggman. Jim Carrey's back, and he is large. So large that he needs an updated suit, he says in the trailer. And so that also was great to see. And then lastly, I just think the scale of this movie, that this feels like the third movie in a trilogy of movies. I wonder if they'll make more. I know that there's rumored that they're making a Shadow TV series, but it feels like everything's been building up to this, which is kind of exciting. It feels like this movie really has the potential to be something special. Hearing tracks like Live and Learn playing in the background and seeing them wink towards that is really cool. And I just think overall, the hype for this film for me as a Sonic fan, and having Sonic and Shadow Generations releasing soon has got me pumped. I can't wait for it. I think this thing is going to be a blast, but I want to know what you guys think. So head down to the comment section down below. Let me know your thoughts. Are you excited for Sonic the Hedgehog 3? Do you think Keanu is doing a great job as Shadow? How did you think about Shadow's portrayal? Are you excited to see a little bit of a departure from the Sonic Adventure 2 story and seeing Eggman initially teaming up with Sonic and friends from the very beginning? Let me know in the comment section down below. Like, comment, subscribe, all that junk, and I will see you guys in the next one.